let's go ahead and take care of our invocation first. So, tonight it is my pleasure to introduce from Perry Nazarene Church, and here to deliver our invocation, Pastor Aaron.
All right, well, let's pray. Father, we do thank you for, we just thank you for the city of Perry. We thank you for good people that are willing to come and serve the people of Perry and have their best interests at heart. We pray that you would be in this meeting, that you would lead the discussion and all the actions that are taken and the actions that are taken as a result of decisions tonight. We just thank you, Lord. You are good. And we pray that we would honor you tonight in everything we do and say. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pastor, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Have a good night.
The time is now 7 p.m. and I will call to order this regular meeting of the Perry City Council for September 19th of 2019. If everyone would please rise. And if you would join me in saying,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. Everyone may be seated. Devin, would you please call the roll?
Greg Elliott.
Here.
Minnie Delaby. Here. Adam Grass. Christopher Powell.
Here.
Michael Queen.
Here.
Terry Wood.
Here.
Mayor James Huglet.
Here.
Allison Conforto, except Councilmember Adam Grass.
Find that a quorum is present. We can conduct business. Bills. The next item on our agenda is approval of that agenda. The clerk and I have prepared the city council's agenda, and we believe it has all matters of business that need to come before you tonight, and I submit it to you for your approval or your amendment.
Move the agenda be adopted as printed.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Wood, that the agenda be adopted as printed. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is reading and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Devin, would you please read the minutes of the September 5th regular city council meeting?
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the September 5th, 2019 regular meeting. Support.
Moved by Elliott, seconded by Queen, that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the September 5th, 2019 regular meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. This takes us to our pre-approved reports and presentations. We have recognition of Perry Pride and Put Your Best Face Forward winners for September. We have
I didn't have anything to do, but that's what we should be on, and I don't know whose it is, so, no, we don't have it tonight.
Okay, we'll pass on that. We have no pre-approved reports. That will take us to public comment. It is at this time during our meetings and also at the end, under any other business may come before the council, that we open the floor up for members of the public to address the council on any matter they may wish to speak to us about. We do have a 3-minute time limit on each section of public comment. Would anyone from the public like to address the council at this time?
Sure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Mark Toez. Just had a couple questions as far as the library is concerned and the firehouse. Who actually owns the firehouse?
I'd have to look into that.
Three entities.
I think
I believe it's the Township, City, and Village of Morse, I think.
'Cause we're-
I'm not sure of that,
I'm not
okay?
sure the village owns this one over here. I think they own the one in there. We'd
I
have to
know
look to
there's
be
talk
sure.
of that it's outlived its,
You'd have to talk to the assessor board about
as
that.
what he mentioned a meeting or two before. And my curiosity is just what's going to happen with that building if they do move, because I'm a library member. I do have a card, believe it or not. I'm not anti-library, but I'm just still a little curious and concerned about the purchase of the possible purchase, I should say, of the old dune buggy shop and why the urge to move forward. Also, I guess you can answer these couple, that Does the CDL have to be involved with anything as far as, I know the city's responsible for the library, the CDL for the internal stuff. Do they have to be involved with making any decisions on that? And if they've been addressed with that? And also, kind of a little curious about the master plan as far as like, the bigger thing is walking and biking paths. Just if anybody knows anything what's been going on, anything in that realm. So a lot to ask.
We don't do question and answer during
Oh,
public
you don't?
comment, but if
Okay.
you'd like to stay to the end, I'd be happy to chat with you. Some of the other council members might. There's nothing on the agenda where council's going to take action on the new library. So
Okay.
you will have an opportunity to talk with them and talk with me if you want, gather some information and express anything you want us to be thinking about.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to address the council on any matter? Welcome in, Genevieve. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing no other public comment, we will move to communications. Devin, do you have any communications for the council?
Couple. You should all have received a copy of the letter from the city attorney dated September 10th to Mayor James Huglet. Resignation. Dear Mayor Huglet, members of the City Council, I hereby resign from the position of Perry City Attorney effective December 31st, 2019. I am willing to serve past that date as Assistant City Attorney if the city has any interest in that arrangement. It has been a pleasure serving as City Attorney. However, the time has come for someone else to assume the day-to-day City Attorney duties. Yours very truly, Thomas S. Bridges.
Do we have anybody in mind as a replacement?
We can go to that.
Okay.
You should also have received a thank you card from Perry Fest. City of Perry, on behalf of the Perry Fest Committee, we would like to thank you for the contribution towards the Perry Fest fireworks. It is greatly appreciated, and here's to another year of a great Perry Fest. Sincerely, Perry Fest Committee. And last, I just want to make note, this had come in last minute, I believe you all have a copy. The mayor gave you a copy, but I made hard copies just in case. It was a letter, city attorney correspondence from September 5th regarding Jubilee Park property. Also, we received a letter and forwarded it on to council from Perry Public Schools. It looks like it's regarding participation, kind of a donation item, and that's all I have for correspondence tonight.
Thank you. So that'll take us to mayor's report. So let's talk about what's going on. Tom Bridges and I have been talking for a little while about his plans to move towards retirement and step out of that city attorney role. I've known that this was coming. I didn't know exactly when he was going to make that decision. But because he and I have been discussing it, I've had plenty of time to prepare for what we would do when his resignation came in, and I've convened a hiring committee, which will consist of the city clerk, chief of police, and myself, and we will open up a process in which we look at potential candidates to replace our city attorney. And once the hiring committee has made some decisions and has a recommendation, I will be prepared to make an appointment and bring it to council for your advice and consent. Not in too much of a hurry, as Tom's staying in place till the end of the year, so we've got a little time to think about this. I also would advise you that I am inclined to accept his offer to remain as assistant city attorney. I believe that his years of experience and the fact that he lives in here in the community could be a great help to the city attorney that we put in his place. And so I think it is likely when it's time to make those appointments, I will make an appointment of him as assistant city attorney and bring it to you for your advice and consent. Does that answer all the questions, Chris?
I wasn't even listening to you, but yes, it does.
That's
Come on.
okay.
Yes, that answered it. Thank you.
I don't have any, oh, actually, I do have one other thing I need to report on. John Sauter had obtained from Godfrey's, the same folks we talked to before, a bid to fix the leak on the McQueen house. And utilizing emergency powers, I have authorized the signing of the contract so that leak will get fixed. We'll proceed with the work as quickly as possible. I did convey this information to the members of the work group who are talking with the Historical Society, thinking they had a more urgent need to be aware of that. However, under the emergency spending powers, I have an obligation to officially report to council tonight what I did. The bid was $6,400. And John will have already signed the contract and delivered. That's all I have to report on. That isn't a matter of business, but does council have any questions?
The McQueen house is being, the roof is being repaired for $6,000? 64?
The leak is being, the things that need to be done to correct it so there's not a leak is what is being done.
Okay.
Which seemed to be
Yeah, thank you.
what the council thought was most urgent.
There's priority. We can keep it dried in and then we can, go from there any other time, so. I personally appreciate you doing that.
Other questions? Okay. If there are no other questions, we will close mayor report, and I'll ask council. Does anyone have a committee report tonight? Hearing no committee reports, we will go to presentation and approval of the bills. Council has had an opportunity to review the bills, and we seek your permission to pay them.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized.
Moved by Wood, seconded by Queen, to approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized. Is there discussion on the bills? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. This will move us to old business. Our first item of old business is possible acceptance of resignations. We have 2 resignations before you for your consideration. The resignation of Scott Nover, which was presented to council at our last meeting, from the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Building Authority, and the Local Officers Compensation Commission. And we have the recently received resignation of our city attorney. So I'd like to ask council, how would you like to proceed on these matters?
Move that we accept the resignation from Scott Nover as the city's representative to the ZBA Board, Building Authority, and Local Officers Compensation Commission with regret.
Second.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Powell, to accept the resignation of Scott Nover from several posts without regrets. Is there discussion?
I just wanted to know, how long has Scott been active in the city?
Scott became involved with the Zoning Board of Appeals back in the mid-2000s, I know that. He's been here as a resident in our community for quite a long time. I don't have the personal relationship necessary to know whether the posts he held before that, but at least 15 years, not less than that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. For the city party, Christmas party, will he be invited? And the mayor, or you can tell, the attorney, the people that are resigning throughout the year?
People that, general rule is if you retire, you are invited, but we have such a rotation. I mean, you could personally, you could do it on your own invite, but that's been our general rule of
I'm just
There's
curious.
been extenuations where there's been an extra guest, but in general rule, if you resign, you're,
Done. Okay. Okay.
so a polite invite will never hurt.
Late invite goes a long ways. And I thank him for his service.
Other discussion? All in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. Would council like to take action on the city attorney's resignation tonight?
I move that we accept the resignation from Thomas Bridges as city attorney effective December 31st, 2019 with regret.
With regret. Second.
Moved by Elliott, seconded by Powell, to accept the resignation of Tom Bridges as city attorney effective December 31 with regret. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. That'll take us to mayor's appointments. I have appointments for 2 of the positions that have just been vacated. My first one is I will appoint Greg Weckworth of 209 Keeney Street to the Local Officers Compensation Commission for a term to expire in October of 2023. I submit that to you for your advice and consent.
I move that we accept the mayor's appointment of Mr. Greg Weckworth to the Local Officers Compensation Commission for a term expiring October 2023.
Second.
Moved by Powell, seconded by Galvin to accept the mayor's appointment of Greg Weckworth to the Local Officers Compensation Commission. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. And I would appoint Bob Porter of 330 North Madison Street to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term expiring in July of 2020. And I'll submit that appointment to council for your advice and consent.
Assuming that,
Please note
Okay.
that I did an error.
I move that we accept the mayor's appointment of Bob Porter to the zoning board of appeals for a term expiring July of 2020.
Second.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Elliott to approve the mayor's appointment of Bob Porter to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. The next item has been a hangover because we've been talking about the library. I have sat down with John Sauer from DPW. Council had asked for a better summary of the costs involved to get the Bean Buggy shop ready if we were going to make it into a library. And so, working with John, I have prepared a report, and you should find it at your seat, headed up, proposed new library facility, 130 South Main Street. There are several things that need to be done before you can open it as a library. There is a list of those with estimated costs. There are several things that are smaller jobs, but would have costs, but we don't have a good estimate for them. I've placed question marks on the 3 items. Build a check-in, check-out counter, electrical internet drops for computers, and set up backdoor access. So those would be things that we would need to work on. There are additional items that would need to be taken care of within 5 to 10 years. Could be done sooner, but that's about the maximum amount of time, including the roof and repairing the front overhang. Repairing or removing the front overhang, and there are estimated costs with those. There are likely to be some other fix-up costs on the inside as you work to get it ready. I've given you some notes that these numbers are rough estimates gathered by staff based on experience and discussions and input obtained from independent contractors at no charge and with no promise of future work. We've tried to estimate high because it is easy for council to adjust if the cost turns out to be lower and difficult to adjust if the cost turns out to be higher. It is the consensus of myself and staff that we have reached the limit of our ability to provide better cost projections. If council wants a more precise answer before making any decisions, we recommend that council employ a design architect or engineer for that purpose. Let's see. I have discussed the ongoing interest with the Fulton's Realtor, and she advises me that the Fultons would welcome and seriously consider offers from the city going forward until they are able to sell the property for a fair price. So that's my report regarding this. Do we want to have any discussion, or would council like to take some time to absorb this information? Or how would you like to proceed?
I think we should absorb it for a little bit. Mr. Grass should also be a part of it. I think it's too early to do anything, but just consider the numbers. at this time, at one time, or?
Other discussion tonight? Shall we leave this matter on the agenda and open up discussion at the next meeting? No action taken?
Yeah.
No objections?
No.
We will move to, well, then we'll need possible approval of allocate funds for real estate purchase on there as well. Just leave this thing alone while council has time to think about what they want to do and how they want to proceed. Any objections to leaving that?
No objection.
Hearing none, we'll move to discussion regarding the local historical districts and grants. Have any of you had an opportunity to reach out to Mrs. Bauer? I guess I don't know if it's Mrs. Bauer, Mallory Bauer? Do we want to?
I think we have to know what's happening in the house before we spend time doing that.
Would you like to take this off your agenda for now? We can put it back on another round. When you're ready to talk about it with her?
Well, we're meeting the historical people, and Craig and I are meeting the 23rd. And we'll hopefully have something
For next
for
week.
us for next meeting.
That's awesome.
Do you want to leave this as no action taken? I see no objections, so we'll do that. Move to new business. We have possible introduction of ordinance number 348, consumer energy franchise. Devin, do you have a report on this?
So our charter states that you, city has to have franchise agreements. We've had the Consumers Energy Gas has had a franchise agreement with the city for the last 30 years, and it is coming up to its term to expire. And so the process has been that Consumers has generously gave us a ordinance to follow. It's been given to the city attorney to review. He has no issues. After researching it, I do find that the charter has a little different process with a franchise agreement on how we do ordinances than what you're usually used to. You're usually used to reading it on one meeting and then having the opportunity to possibly approve it at the second meeting. Franchise agreement, for this situation, the charter states that it has to be available for public inspection for at least 4 weeks, and it has to be introduced. So, I mean, unless you have any questions of what was in your agenda packet, what I'm asking tonight is that you make the motion proposed in front of you. Unfortunately, you will have to read it. It's the same concept. You're introducing it. You would read the whole ordinance, and then after the 4-week term, then you could possibly adopt it. As you can see, it's a little bit more complicated. I gave you the whole package that we're going to go through. This ordinance also works as a contract. So there's a few more pieces that you will see that are added so that we get the official acceptance from Consumers Consumers Energy for gas, and then the formal showing that you formally introduced it. It's been formally published. All dates and recognition will be in this packet.
So we read this first or do the motion first?
I think the motion has what you have to read in it.
Yeah, I just make the first sentence and then you will follow afterwards. Yeah, so start with your motion and then go ahead and please.
I move that the ordinance number 348 being read and introduced to be placed on file in the office of the city clerk for public inspection for at least 4 weeks. Ordinance number 348, Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance. An ordinance granting to Consumers Energy Company its successors and assigns the right and authority to lay, maintain, and commercially operate gas lines and facilities, including but not limited to mains, pipes, services, and on, under, along, and across public places, including but not limited to highways, streets, alleys, bridges, and waterways, and to conduct a local gas business in the city of Perry, Shiawassee County, Michigan, for a period of 30 years. The City of Perry ordains, Section 1, grant in term. The City of Perry, Shiawassee County, Michigan hereby grants to Consumers Energy Company, its successors, and assigns, hereinafter called consumers, the right and authority to lay, maintain, and commercially operate gas lines and facilities, including but not limited to mains, pipes, services, and valves on, under, along, and across public places, including but not limited to highways, streets, alleys, bridges, and waterways, and to conduct a local gas business in the City of Perry, Shiawassee County, for a period of 30 years. Section 2, conditions. No public place used by consumers shall be obstructed longer than necessary during construction or repair, and shall be restored to the same order and condition as when work was commenced. All of consumers' gas lines and related facilities shall be placed as not to unnecessarily interfere with the public's use of public places. Consumers shall have the right to trim or remove trees if necessary in the conducting of such business. Section 3, hold harmless. Consumers shall save the city free and harmless from all loss, cost, and expense to which it may be subject by reason of the negligent construction and maintenance of the lines and related facilities hereby authorized. In case any action is commenced against the city on account of the permission herein given, consumers shall, upon notice, defend the city and its representatives and hold them harmless from all loss, cost, and damage arising out of such negligent construction and maintenance. Section 4, extensions. Consumers shall construct and extend its gas distribution system within said city and shall furnish gas service to applicants residing therein in accordance with applicable laws, rules, and regulations. Section 5, franchise, not exclusive. The rights, power, and authority herein granted are not exclusive. Section 6, rates and conditions. Consumers shall be entitled to provide gas service to the inhabitants of the city at the rates and pursuant to the conditions as approved by the Michigan Public Service Commission. Such rates and conditions shall be subject to review and change upon petition to the Michigan Public Service Commission. Section 7, revocation. The franchise granted by this ordinance is subject to revocation upon 60 days written notice by either party. Upon revocation, this ordinance shall be considered repealed and of no effect past, present, or future. Section 8, Michigan Public Service Commission jurisdiction. Consumers remains subject to the reasonable rules and regulations of the Michigan Public Service Commission applicable to gas service in the city, and those rules and regulations preempt any term of any ordinance of the city to the contrary. Section 9, repealer. This ordinance, when enacted, shall repeal and supersede the provisions of any previous gas franchise ordinance adopted by the city, including any amendments. Section 10, effective date. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon publication, provided, however, it shall cease and be of no effect after 30 days from its adoption, unless within said period the grantee shall accept the same in writing filed with the city clerk. Upon acceptance and publication hereof, this ordinance shall constitute a contract between said city and said grantee. Possible approval to amend cellular phone policy. Do I stop there? I'm assuming. All right.
Moved by Elliott, second by Queen. Ordinance number 348, as just read, be introduced and placed on file in the offices of the city clerk for a public inspection for at least 4 weeks. Is there discussion on the first reading? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That will take us to possible approval to amend the cellular phone policy. Devin, did you have some information for council on this?
I reported at the last council meeting that we had Michigan Municipal League, their loss control came in to kind of evaluate some of our ordinances, and one of them was our cellular phone policy. Our current cellular phone policy is for issued cell phones to employees, and his point was that the majority, very few people don't have a cell phone, and they're being used for work whether they're issued or not. And because emergency equipment and using heavy equipment, we don't address in the current policy any kind of regulations of the common sense regulations of when you should be texting and not texting. And he said you should have a policy that covers the city, telling them that you're aware that you use it, this is what we expect when you use it and why you use it. So if you've had time to look at it, if you have any questions or concerns.
How do you read through that screen?
Practice.
I guess so. Because my eyes are usually a little shot, bloodshot.
That we approve the amended cellular phone policy as presented by the clerk.
Support.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Wood, to approve the amended cellular phone policy as presented by the clerk. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That'll take us to possible amendment to community room policy. Devin, do you have a report to council on this?
This is a little different situation. We have in the last year, on and off, continued to run into a situation where the people are renting and the new item is these stick-on hooks. And if you don't take them off properly, they rip the paint off. And so I think we counted, by the time we're done, it wasn't just one person. I think we had 8 little blotches, and so it continues to happen. So DPW was a little frustrated of having to mend these minor deposits. Partial deposits were kept for the damage, and they didn't mean anything by them. I mean, nobody tried to hurt. So this policy has been amended to 2 things. Is what your Department of Public Works superintendent has suggested and recommended that's added in here. 1, you have to have freestanding decorations, and 2, there was a compromise done. We did research together, looking at several different municipalities on what they have done, and there are several places that have put hooks in place to allow. So there was some common sense of where the holes already were, but instead of ripping them out, so there is that option in there. So that is the amendment that is taking place. Along with that, if the mayor don't mind, I'm just going to kind of reiterate because they're kind of one of the same.
You want to give a report on the community room fee schedule? Go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
Absolutely. Let's give council everything.
Because we were all in meeting, this meeting included Shirley, because she is our head person at the front counter that usually takes the rentals. John, because he has to fix and usually assert different situations. And then because I hold the policies and bring them to council, the 3 of us put our heads together. Another thing that was considered was the increase of rates. And what will be proposed to you tonight is all rates have increased by $25. And we found that out of the municipalities that Shirley investigated, we were under by quite a bit. And we still aren't reaching them, but we don't want to gouge. I did do the research and accounting to see how we were doing. We're still making money for the repairs that are going in, so it's still okay where it's at. I want to say the last time this was raised, I think my history was 2006 since these rates have been raised. So needless to say, it's been quite a while, and that's probably why when we look at other municipalities and hall rental places, we are a little bit under of what everybody else is getting. So that's what we all come together as our little mini committee in the office and are recommending. So going back to the policy or the fees, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. And yes, sir.
I read, I can't find it now, about magnetic hooks. Will we have those?
No.
We will not have those available, we're
We-
gonna tell them they have to use it?
We are recommending, well, and we're going to compare apples to what other people are doing. And that is actually, the magnetic is for the actual, because our ceiling tiles have the metal strips on them.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of reading our tiles, we're giving, well, all we did was let them know there are options, because we're getting away. We took all the sticky, we tried to cover anything, no sticky anymore. No clay, you know, because they have different options that you can put on the walls to do different things. It was recommended, but because they're magnet, they could lose them and stuff. They can find lots of other options to do it, but, so.
There's a lot of different rolls of tapes out there that won't take the paint off, and so that's why I was wondering if we were supplying hooks.
We put hooks into the walls.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Additional questions?
Move that we approve the amended commuting room policy as presented by the clerk.
Second.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Elliott, that we approve the amended community room policy as presented by the clerk. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That moves us, go ahead.
I move that we accept the resolution presented that amends the fee schedule for the use of the City of Perry Community Center effective January 1st, 2000.
Moved by Queen, seconded by Galvin, that we accept and adopt the fee schedule as presented by the city clerk. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That'll take us to any other business that may come before council. This is the second opportunity for the members of the public to address the city council on any matter. Would anyone from the public like to address council at this time?
Good.
Seeing no public comment, I'd ask council if they have any other items of business that they wish to take up tonight. Having no other business?
I do.
Oh.
I do. We
Okay.
still have nobody going over to the school board meetings. I mean, I think everybody thinks I should do it for everybody.
I think
But-
you should.
You think what?
I personally think you should. You're comfortable.
Well, the whole thing in doing that was building a relationship among the two boards. I mean, we didn't even know who they were. I mean, did you really? How many of you knew who the school board? And they're such an intricate part of the city, same as we are, they sure ought to know each other. And if they needed to come to each other and negotiate something or work for something like we've done in the past, it's a lot easier if we know each other. I mean, you only go, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, once every 5th meeting, so once every 2.5 months.
You do 2 meetings a month there?
I don't know, 1.5 months?
I don't know, I thought they only had 1 meeting a month. But I couldn't-
That's right, you're right, I was thinking us, you're right. So it ain't very often, but I mean,
So
I
you're saying
believe,
take turns? We take turns going?
yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, yes.
Is there a schedule?
You guys never made one. What the school board does is they rotate them, but they haven't been here either. What they've done is they was taking the attitude that city council don't come to ours, why should we go to theirs, I think. Because they haven't been here, I think the only one's been lately is,
Catherine Hahn
Catherine Hahn.
and one of the new ladies whose name I can't remember.
Oh, that was,
Just elected.
Schneider, yes.
Schneider, yes.
But, you know, the whole thing when I started this was to get a relationship between us.
So when's the next meeting, Terry?
Well, I just missed Mondays because I was down and out, so it'll be usually third Monday of every month.
So, third Monday of next month would be October 21st. Any
Yes.
volunteers?
I'll go the first, the next meeting,
You'll take October 21st.
I'll do October 21st.
The next after that will be November 18th. Any volunteers besides Mr. Powell, unless you want two in a row?
I mean, I'm a go-getter
Mindy will
from
take
the
November.
get.
So Mindy will take November 18th. The next meeting after that is December 16th. Craig, Mike, either of you like this one?
I'll do that one.
Okay, Craig's got December 16th. The next one after that is January 20th. Mike, do you want that one, or do you want, we can assign it to the guy who's not here? So let's give that one to Adam. So let's give that one to Adam. Will February 17th work for you? So let's give Mike February 17th. And we'll put that in the,
Take Terry for the last one of the school year.
There you go.
There you go. Since he skipped out
I
on the last
appreciate
one.
that, I think it's nice. I just think we need them, we have to do our job here, but we need that school, and it's really doing a good job. They've really turned it around. But it's nice to have a relationship with them. You never know when you're gonna meet each other.
7 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
so we'll put that in the next 7 minutes. Do we have someone with contact with the superintendent that we can let her know the plan?
We can find that out, but we haven't directly been given her card or anything
I
yet,
thought
but.
Joy may have contact with her. But let's see if we can pass that on to the superintendent. If we don't have anybody, Terry can probably help us with that.
October, what was mine? 17, did you say?
Put the calendar back up.
Thanks.
23rd.
21st. Can you see what I expect?
Oh, okay. Got a dentist appointment.
Can get drilled.
Get very.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay. Any other items of business to come up from council members tonight? We'll close any other business and move to council discussions and observations. Mindy, do you have anything you'd like to add tonight? Craig, anything?
I am good. Thank you.
Chris?
We're going to have a parks meeting before the end of the month. Make some more phone calls, and I will let you know, Gavin, so we can post it.
Very good, thank you. Terry?
No, I think that's good.
And Mayor Pro Tem Mike Queen. Mike?
Before, slightly after school was over, a young kid was in a pickup truck, started driving down Watkins Street, burning tires halfway down the street. Obviously, I don't have a radar, right, but obviously going 40, 50 miles an hour, as a young girl was walking past my driveway, cowered down and got scared, right? Tried to stop the individual as they stopped at the stop sign, but they took off to the school, right? Very dangerous. This girl was petrified. You know, a lot of little kids riding around, riding bikes and stuff right now, and that's honestly foolish. You know, I mean, you think about the impact if you were to hit someone, what it would do to them, their family, but you gotta think of the impact it would have on your life too, right? Knowing that you did that, right? So it's just ridiculous to drive like that and to behave like that. So tell your kids, tell your friends, right? You gotta be responsible in the community.
Like, you know, if that's something that we can bring up to the school board meeting when the council attends,
Well, you'll be there next month, go ahead.
I usually, and you know, I'm quiet though, I don't like to say much, so I'll sit in the back. But is there,
Don't they have a seat at the
did you
table?
get that moment?
Chris,
They have a seat.
you can sit with them,
Okay.
just like they
It's
sit with
right
us.
to the right of me, right here.
You can sit next to Terry again.
Again,
Good
on the
deal.
other side, see if it looks any better.
Well, we'll see.
Feel free to bring it up.
But that is something that can be brought up in the council, school board meeting?
Well,
or-
it's, you can bring it up because it's obviously one of the kids at the school and they might be able to do something with it, but it's on a city street, they don't have no control down off-school property,
Okay.
But we have in the past and would continue to try to work with the school
Right.
where we can identify the student to deal with that issue. The school has the power to revoke their privileges to drive there, and if we can provide them with sufficient information to identify the right kid and sufficient evidence as to what happened, it would be a good thing if we could work with them and discourage kids from behaving like that. And it starts with a conversation. Anything else, Bill? All right, then let us move to agenda items for the next meeting. We need to keep mayor's appointments on there. I don't think I'll have a city attorney appointment by then, so we're gonna take our time with that one. But I hope to have somebody for the building commission to replace Scott over in that seat, so we can keep that on. Keep our discussion items regarding the potential future library on the agenda, and the discussion of local historical district grants, and I think that's it. Does anybody else have any other items for the next agenda? If anything comes to your attention between now and our next meeting on October, I'm in the wrong month, that's why it didn't make any sense. October 3rd, please bring to the attention of the city clerk, and we will work to get all items of business that council needs to consider in front of you. With that,
we need to do the Halloween hours. Don't we usually do that every year?
You have time on the first meeting, but you could do I guess that's up to you under any other business.
Well, I don't know, I just getting close, October 3rd is,
well, let's put it on the agenda. If council's not ready, we can have an extra meeting to do it.
I
There's
didn't
no
know
reason
when
they
we
can't
did it.
set them, so we'll have that. Other items for the next agenda?
Did we do like a Halloween contest like we did Christmas last year? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't remember it.
I usually authorize some candy for the police department. It's built into the budget. It allows them to talk with kids and be out in the community. Part of it, share candy with them, but that's not something that requires council action. Any other items for the next agenda? With that, then, the time is now 7:47. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.